Have you ever stopped for a second and actually asked yourself this question? What exactly are you running for every single day? Because think about it. You wake up in the morning, you rush through your routine, you deal with traffic, you show up at work, you give away the best hours of your life, and by the time you get back home, you're drained. And if you really calculate it, you're easily giving 9 to 10 hours of your day just to earn money. But here's the uncomfortable truth nobody likes to admit. While you're working this hard, your money isn't working at all. It's just sitting quietly in a bank account, doing almost nothing, growing so slowly that inflation is literally eating it alive every single year. So, on the surface, it feels like you're progressing, but in reality, you're slowly falling behind. And that's the trap most people never even realize they're stuck in. And today, we're not talking about trading tricks. We're not talking about chasing hype stocks. We're not talking about gambling disguised as investing. We're going to talk about something much more powerful, something boring on the outside, but life changing in the long run. A system that makes your money work for you. And the crazy part is, you don't need millions to start, you don't even need lakhs. We're going to build this entire idea starting with just one number 10,000. And before you dismiss that as too small, understand this clearly. The amount is not the game. The system is the game because the same system that works for 10,000 will work for 1 lakh, 10 lakh, even 1 crore. But if you don't build the system now, more money won't fix your problem. It will just magnify your mistakes. So, first, let's destroy 3 dangerous myths that keep people stuck for years. The first myth is that saving money is safe and investing is risky. Sounds logical, right? But let's break it down logically. If inflation is around 6% and your bank is giving you 3 or 4%, you're not growing your money. You're losing purchasing power every single year. Your money might look the same on paper, but what it can actually buy is shrinking. So tell me honestly, is that safety or is that slow loss? The second myth is that you need a lot of money to start investing. This is just an excuse people hide behind because starting small feels uncomfortable. But reality is simple. 10,000 is more than enough to begin because the goal at the start is not to get rich, it's to build discipline. It's like going to the gym. You don't walk in on day one and lift heavy weights. You start small, you learn form, you build consistency, and over time, strength follows automatically. The third myth is that investing means constantly watching charts, stressing over prices, and spending hours analyzing data. That's only true if you choose to make it complicated. But for most people, especially those with a full time job, your time is far more valuable than trying to outsmart the market. In fact, the smarter approach is to accept a simple truth. The market is bigger than you, smarter than you, and impossible to consistently beat. So instead of fighting it, you join it, and that's where a system comes in. Investing should feel like setting up a machine. You configure it once, you let it run, and you focus on your life. Now, let me ask you something directly. If right now someone handed you 10,000, what would you actually do with it? Would you lock it in a fixed deposit? Would you keep it in your savings account? Or would you just let it sit there untouched? Because most people do exactly that. They work for years, they save money, and then they let it sit idle while inflation quietly reduces its value. It's like putting in effort every day to carry a bucket full of water up a hill without realizing there's a hole at the bottom. No matter how hard you work, you're still losing. So here's where things changed. Instead of randomly deciding what to do, you follow a structure. You divide that 10,000 into 3 clear parts: protection, growth, and opportunity. The first part is protection. This is 20%, which is 2,000. And this money is not for investing. This is your emergency buffer. And most people underestimate how important this is because life is unpredictable. Unexpected expenses happen. Jobs are not guaranteed. Emergencies don't come with warnings. And if you don't have this buffer, the moment something goes wrong, you're forced to pull money out of your investments at the worst possible time, usually at a loss. And that's exactly how people fail. Not because they chose bad investments, but because they didn't prepare for uncertainty. This 2000 is not about returns, it's about stability. It gives you the confidence to let the rest of your money stay invested without panic. The second part is growth. This is 60%, which is 6,000, and this is where the real work happens. But here's the key. You don't invest it all at once, you spread it out over time. Because trying to predict the perfect moment to invest is a losing game. Nobody gets it right consistently, not even professionals. So instead of guessing, you use consistency, you invest a fixed amount regularly, maybe every month, and this approach removes pressure, removes timing mistakes, and builds momentum over time. The third part is opportunity. The remaining 20%, another 2000, and this is your strategic reserve. This is the money you use when the market drops significantly. Because here's what happens in reality. When markets fall, most people panic and sell, but that's actually when opportunities appear. Prices are lower, value is higher. But only those with available cash can take advantage of it. And that's why this portion exists. It gives you an edge. It allows you to act when others freeze. Now, at this point, you might be thinking this still sounds complicated, but it's actually much simpler than you think. Step one is opening an investment account, which today takes less than 10 minutes online. Step two is setting up automatic transfers so your money gets invested without you needing to remember or take action every time. Because let's be honest, if something requires constant effort, you'll eventually skip it. Automation removes that problem. Step three is choosing simple investment options that track the overall market, not individual risky bets, because simplicity is what makes this sustainable. Step four is rebalancing occasionally, maybe every 6 months, just to maintain your original allocation, and that's it. No constant monitoring, no emotional decisions, just a structured approach. Now, let's talk about results because this is where things get interesting. If your investments grow at an average rate of around 6 to 7% annually, your 10,000 can double in roughly 10 years, grow to around 38,000 in 20 years, and cross 75,000 in 30 years. And this is without adding extra money. If you consistently add even a small monthly amount, the growth becomes significantly larger. This is the power of compounding, and it works quietly, slowly, but relentlessly. But here's something most people struggle with: emotions, because numbers are easy to understand, but behavior is hard to control. When markets go down, fear takes over. When markets go up, greed kicks in, and both lead to bad decisions, which is why having a system matters more than having knowledge. Because a system protects you from yourself. It tells you what to do when your emotions try to override logic. And there's another important perspective you need to understand. Investing is not your only source of wealth. Your biggest asset is your ability to earn, your skills, your knowledge, your experience. Because if your income grows, your ability to invest grows. And that accelerates everything, focusing only on returns. While ignoring your personal growth is a mistake, the smartest approach is to improve both. Increase your income and invest consistently. Now let's address the biggest mental barrier: waiting to feel ready. Because the truth is, you will never feel completely ready. There will always be uncertainty, there will always be risk, and if you keep waiting for the perfect moment, you'll never start. And doing nothing is not neutral. It's a decision to let inflation reduce your wealth over time. So the real choice is simple. Either you let your money sit idle and slowly lose value, or you take control and put it to work. And it doesn't require a huge leap. It just requires a first step. Maybe today you spend 30 minutes understanding how to open an account. Maybe you calculate how much you can invest monthly. Maybe you start with a small amount, but you start because once the system is in place, everything becomes easier. And over time, as you see your money grow, your confidence grows with it, your stress reduces, your perspective changes, and you begin to experience something most people never do: the feeling of your money working for you. And that's when everything shifts. Because financial freedom is not about luxury, it's about control, it's about having options, it's about not being forced into decisions you don't want to make. And that journey doesn't begin with a large amount, it begins with a decision to stop chasing money and start building a system that makes money work for you. And if you remember one thing from all of this, let it be this: the best time to start was years ago, but the second best time is right now. And the longer you wait, the harder it becomes. So stop overthinking, stop delaying, and take that first step, because your future self is already depending on the decision you make today.